Welcome back to another episode of Titans of Food Service. I'm your host, Nick Portillo, and today I sit down with Candace Williams. Candace is the Director of National Accounts away from home at Califia Farms, a trailblazing plant-based beverage brand on a mission to revolutionize the way we consume dairy. With a rich background in national accounts, including stints at Schwann's and Kraft Heinz, among others, she brings many years of invaluable food service sales experience to the table. In her role at Califia Farms, Candace is at the forefront of the plant-based movement, helping national chain restaurant operators seamlessly integrate plant-powered options into their menus. She's not just about products. She's about empowering her partners with insightful consumer data to drive informed decisions and menu innovation, ensuring not just change, but growth. And you'll see that as we get into the conversation today. What sets Candace apart is her holistic approach. She doesn't just offer products, she provides a comprehensive range of support services from culinary ideation to distribution planning. This ensures that every product launch is not just successful, but also smooth, reflecting her commitment to excellence. Join us and me as we talk about her journey, insights, and exciting developments in the world of plant-based food and beverages on Titans of Food Service. Let's go ahead and welcome Candace. All right. Candace, welcome to the Titans of Food Service podcast. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and meet with me.
Hey, thanks for having me, Nick. I'm super excited for our discussion.
All right. So I know we talked off camera a little bit that you live in Utah, and I'm actually doing a trip upcoming to Deer Valley.
Oh,
And don't ask me where that is on a map because I've never been to Utah. This will be my first time and going out with some friends. And I've never skied before, so I'm going to go skiing and take a lesson and learn how to do that for the first time, which I'm excited about.
well, you picked the right spot. Deer Valley is very, very
Deer Valley.
nice. I love Deer Valley. It's in Park City, where the Winter Olympics were in 2002. And you're in for a treat. If you've never been to Utah, it's beautiful. And that is probably the most beautiful resort in Utah is Deer Valley. That's where I like to ski and I like to mountain bike during the summer up there. It's
Ooh,
my happy place. So you're going to love it.
ooh, that makes me really excited.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. My friends picked it, and so they're working on the details of it and whatnot. And I'm just along for the ride. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Well, I will give you tips on restaurants in that area because there's a ton of great restaurants, and there's actually a distillery up there that everybody raves about. I'm not a whiskey girl myself, but everybody loves High West Distillery. They do a
High
double rye
West.
that apparently is just the most amazing.
Ooh.
So you got to
That's a
check
good
that.
segue
Mhm.
into what I like to call the Fiery Five food service questions. They're five easy icebreaker questions. So my first one is around Deer Valley, and I wanted to see. I'm going to be there for 4 days. What restaurants, off the top of your head, would you recommend for me to take a look at?
So around Deer Valley, it's pretty close to Park City Main Street. Deer Valley has a lot of great restaurants on the property, but I would encourage you to go on Main Street because that's where the real food scene happens. First and foremost, River Horse Grill. That's been a local institution for many, many years. Always great food and service. High West Distillery. Go for a whiskey sampling and then definitely try some small plates. Great for like a happy hour. I've eaten there a couple times. I don't prefer it, but you might find things you like on the menu. And then I would head up to Squatters, which is a local brew
Mm,
house that is just a super fun vibe. Great craft beer on tap.
ooh,
And then there's a little gelato shop right on Main Street too that you could end your evening with. So really, you've got happy hour, your main, a little bit of a nightcap at the brewery, and then you could have ice cream.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
That's perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Um, my next question is, what about a popular dish or meal that I must try if I'm going to be in Utah? Something specific to Utah.
Oh man, I love this question. Fry sauce. So get a
What is it?
burger. It's called a fry sauce. And what it is, it's just mayonnaise and ketchup. Some people put barbecue sauce in it too. It's basically an aioli. that you dip your fries in. But it is a Utah original that we're known for is our fry sauce.
Ooh, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
yeah. We are also the green Jello capital of I think the world. I spent some time at Kraft Foods selling Jello, and from what I know, that we still hold a record of green Jello sales. So you probably won't find it on restaurant menus, but we are very well known for Jello casseroles.
I, I had no idea. I had no idea that is it Utahns or how do you, like I say Californians?
Yeah, Utahns,
What someone
Utahns.
Utahns?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Utahns.
okay. Okay. I didn't realize Utahns like Jello.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with one person, historical or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh man, historical or alive? This is a loaded question. There's so many good people to choose. I really love Oprah Winfrey. I would love
Mm,
to sit down and have a chat with her. She's a great philanthropist, great businesswoman, and just, yeah, I think that she would be fascinating to sit down and
yeah, she
have
would
a
be.
conversation with. But I mean, there's a list of probably 10 that I could think of that I would love to sit down with and have a rich chat.
Amazing. What is one restaurant chain you feel is leading the way in food service innovation and why?
Oh man, that's loaded too. Like what if I don't pick one of my customers? What if I pick someone that someone else doesn't like? Um, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good restaurant chains that are doing some great things. I personally love what Jack in the Box is doing right now with their marketing
Okay.
campaigns and spreading across the country. I think their marketing is innovative. They partnered with Snoop Dogg recently on a late night pop up
Mm,
that was all the rage. You also have McDonald's that's doing some really innovative things with robotics, and they just opened that Cosmix, their beverage and kind of
yeah,
quick eats to compete with Starbucks, which I think that's going to go like wildfire. Um, so yeah, I think that would probably be the top two, just off the top of my mind.
those are great choices.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then my fifth question is rank these 5 restaurant chains that all started in Utah, 1 through 5, without knowing what comes next.
Okay.
So the first one is Cafe Rio.
Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. Rank them 1 through 5. Man, probably 4. I would give them a 4.
4. I think it's pronounced Cup Bop.
Cup Bop. 5.
Nielsen's Frozen Custard.
That's got to be a 2.
Swig Drinks.
3.
And then Arctic Circle.
Oh man, they're probably number 2, and the frozen custard's probably 1, but they're gonna have to be 1. That's all that's left. And I'm really upset that you didn't mention KFC because we are home to the original KFC.
I was going to say I had that on my list as a 6th one,
Okay.
and I didn't realize that KFC did not start in Kentucky. The
Yeah,
first location was in Utah.
correct. It's still downtown Salt Lake. You can still visit it. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, fun fact, I had no idea.
Okay, so now you have to tell me, like, how close was I? Was I completely off?
To the ranking?
Yeah.
Oh, no, these are just your personal preferences.
Oh, my personal
So
preference. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like when they opened. If you want to go preference, then
Oh,
number 1 would be Cafe Rio. I eat there a couple times a week. Like I am a
I love Cafe
Mexican
Rio.
food junkie. I would eat Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if my body would allow me to.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh
I
my god.
clearly didn't understand the question.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, I love Cafe Rio. We get the my wife and I like the pork barbacoa, the sweet pork. Whew.
My
No one else sells that I'm aware of, at least around me.
agreed.
And it is phenomenal. It's so good.
Yes. Yes. No, yeah. Yeah, I like all those places that you mentioned. Honestly, I eat at all of them. I haven't been to Arctic Circle in a while. That's more of a summer treat for me, but yeah,
Yeah.
the rest on the list are classic Utah favorites.
Nice. Well, Candace, maybe a little bit about your background, who you are, what's your job? Maybe start there.
Yeah, sure, love to. So do you want just the abbreviated version where I am today
Yeah.
and kind of what I like to do?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
great. So I am a director of national accounts for a brand called Califia Farms. We specialize in alternative dairy or plant milks, as people would call them. So oat, almond milk, coconut, different bases. I have been in the food service industry for about 15 years and just climbed up the
Wow.
ranks through the very bottom to now a director role. So happy to be with Califia Farms. They're based out of LA, which LA is my second home that I always like to go
Hmm.
to. So it's a bonus for me.
Amazing. How did you get into food service?
I took a non-traditional journey through to food service. I early in my career, my parents owned garden centers, and so like where you buy plants and trees and soil and shrubs and things. And so I really learned how to sell and how to upsell and work hard, things like that through the family business. And I think it was around like 2000-ish that I decided I wanted to do more in sales and get out of retail and doing, long hours on the weekend, holidays, things like that. So I applied to a gift company that was selling like furnishings and decor to our garden centers. And after getting hired on with the gift company, I did gift sales, which included like seasonal items and handbags and jewelry and things like that to gift shops across
Mm.
Utah, Idaho, Nevada area. And 2008 hit. And that was a 100% commission job, which I really thrived in because I am very money motivated, like a lot of salespeople. And so love the commission only, but it was really feast or famine in 2008 when the market crashed. And so I knew I needed to get into something that people needed, not wanted. So I looked into the different opportunities in sales, and really food and pharmaceuticals rose to the top. I applied for Kraft Foods, a sales position on their team, thinking that it was retail, not knowing what food service was, as most of us don't know in our 20s. And luckily, the hiring manager, I need to take my hat off to him, Todd Essex, he really took a chance on me because I had zero food service experience, like never been a waitress, never worked in a restaurant, and I just sold like giftware to grocery stores on their gift aisle. So yeah, I started my career at Kraft Foods, and that was a great like kind of food service 101. I was a key account
Mhm.
manager, and so I had the opportunity to call on distributors as well as customers. And it was the territory of Utah and Idaho, and so I called on all the distributors like Cisco, U.S. Foods, some independents, Nicholas and Company, and I also got the opportunity to call on vending and CNU and healthcare and
Mm.
like just everything that food service encompasses. And so it was definitely a baptism by fire because my whole team was in Colorado. And I was here with a counterpart, but she got promoted quickly to beverage manager. And so she was no longer like supporting the area. And me not knowing much, like I went on maybe two sales calls with her. And then they're just like, all right, figure it out. So my awesome buyers at Cisco, Intermountain, they trained me food service. They told me what to do. They partnered me with the reps that I should ride with, and it really was like a baptism by fire. And I just was reading all the sales books, and there's no sales books about business to business sales in food service. Like one day I might
Mhm.
write one because I think it's necessary for these young 20-year-olds that are trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. But yeah, so that's how that was my journey into food service.
It's funny you say that. That's one of the reasons why I started this podcast over a year ago is when I got into the business back in 2015. I had just graduated from college. And my dad said, "This is an industry you learn by doing. You got to go out there and I know that we use the term drag the bag
Yeah.
and go see customers door to door." And he's like, "There's no books you can read on how to be successful on this. You just need to go out there and do it." So I feel like it's like jumping out of an airplane, building your parachute on the way down. You're constantly learning as you go. And so when I started this podcast, I was like, this could be the book that he was referring to that never existed. So
Yes, I totally agree. I
how
listened to many of your episodes, and honestly, I've gotten a little piece of advice out of each one, and so I think it is the
thank
book
you.
that these new people need to read just fresh out of college that are like, "Oh, what is food service and how do I do this?"
Yeah. How long do you think it took you to really say, you know what, I got it. This food service thing, I get it now.
I would say 3 years. Like at the 3 year
Yeah.
mark, I mean, of course, like after a year, I was doing well, but I think at 3 years I was really thriving and I understood the machine that food service is and how to go into a customer and actually convert a sales call into an actual case sell. To
Mhm.
really sell cases. So I think it takes about 3 years to establish yourself in a market and just get the grasp because there's so many different pieces in non-commercial and contracts and all of these different facets to learn. And so yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's definitely for me. I'd probably say around the same. It took a while. You can have, let's say, an operator say, "Yes, I'd love to buy your product." Then you have to figure out a way to get it to them. You have to go through distribution of some sort. Like there's so many different things you have to check off, as opposed to, "Okay, you want to buy it? I'll bring it to you tomorrow," or you can buy it right now and I'll send it to you today. It's an interesting sales process for sure.
It's a crazy process. And I mean, you get those customers that call you. Like, I used to sell coffee and coffee equipment with Kraft Foods. And you want a job that you get 5 a.m. angry phone calls, sell coffee and coffee equipment. And so that was a really good learning experience. I was kind of a one woman broker because so many of the different lines that Kraft Foods had at the time. And it
Yeah.
was the original Kraft Foods, not the Kraft Heinz that we know today. And so I would get calls all the time at like 5 a.m. and I would literally have coffee at my house in case I needed to take a case to a customer because that's what you
Wow.
had to do. And I am like an expert mechanic on coffee equipment because that's what you had to do.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I would wanna get that early morning call,
Yeah.
especially with coffees. It's a very important thing to a lot of operators out there,
Oh, yeah.
and their early morning customers.
Yes.
So, talk to me about what does your role look like in present day?
Sure. So I call on national chain accounts of all different
Mhm,
sorts. We have a very large coffee business, which we sell to large coffee shops, which
mhm.
was semi new to me. I had always sold coffee with Kraft Foods, and it was something that I really enjoyed. And this is just coffee shops to a whole new level because oat milk is such a prominent thing in coffee shops today. So anyway, I sell across the country, and I also am a member of our leadership team, Califia, and so I do a lot of strategy and planning and all the things that come with being on a leadership team for a food service company. We call it away from home because we're not selling food; we're selling beverage. But also, my job encompasses just taking care of any of the customer's needs from ideation sessions, innovation sessions, contracts, um, everything that food service sells requires from start to finish. So I prospect, I do consumer insights, I do innovation sessions, I'm strategizing on what we're going to do. I'm helping the internal teams with system recommendations and software recommendations and things. So yeah, I wear a lot of hats. Califia is a smaller company, and so coming from a Kraft Foods, and I also worked at Unilever. before, and going from that machine that all of these processes take place in the background that you take it for granted. Now I do all those things, and it's kind of a wild ride, but we're on a rocket ship and it's really fun.
Oh my gosh, that just sounds fun. And I know we were talking off camera before we started, and Califia started here in California, and I see that brand all over the place. You and your team have done a phenomenal job, um, and it's a very, very, very popular brand.
Yes, yes, we are very well known. We're a leader in the space, and it's just an excellent product. Honestly, all of our customers that do use it, they're very dedicated because there's just no comparison in the market to
Yeah,
our quality and just our service and everything about the brand. Um, we resonate very well with our customers.
sure. Talk to me about the innovation sessions. What do those look like?
Yeah, sure. That's a common national account practice is you
Okay.
get a customer to let you come into their office or you host them at your office, and basically you go through consumer insights and then you show them concepts, and so you get culinary involved and you actually create concepts that you think might work for that customer. And so it's normally about an hour to 2 hour session, and it's very joint. The customer helps you plan the session. Like, hey, we're trying to increase our morning day part. We're trying to attract more millennials, and so you kind of tailor the presentation and the consumer insights to what the customer's needs are, and then you play in the kitchen. So that is honestly the funnest part of my job is doing innovation sessions and just sharing that, hey, this is where plant-based is, this is where it's going, this is the market research we have on Gen Z, millennials, boomers, and how they resonate with plant-based, and then hey, we've got some really cool ideas that we think would work for you on a future LTO.
So you bring the consumer insights with you, or they have those typically?
We bring the consumer insights with us because we are the manufacturer and the expert in that field, and so we collect it through different data sources, Data Essentials, Technomics, NPD, like Mintel, all of those different sources, and we pull it together to make it relevant to the customer.
What about when it comes down to pricing? Let's say someone's going to buy truckloads of your
Mhm.
product. Is there like a formula that you look at in terms of what the proper price will be, or how do you determine that?
No, you know what? There's no one formula. I've never, unfortunately, worked for a food service company that had a good formula for that.
Mhm.
Really, it just depends on the volume that the customer has, the item they want, and how they're getting it to their door. Because distribution is also a cost, and so depending on how they pick it up or we deliver it, all those sort of things factor into kind of a formula that we do have.
And with national accounts too, do they go through broadline distribution, or do they have their own internal distribution? How does that work?
Sure. So national accounts, it's all over across the board. It depends on the size of the customer. I mean, some self-distribute, and so they will just pick up from our DC, and it'll go to a commissary, and then they'll self-distribute. Others will go through McLean or Sigma or PFG Custom, which are kind of specialized in chain business, and others will just go through normal broadline, Cisco, US Foods, and smaller independents. So it just depends on the chain,
Gotcha.
but it's all over the board. Like some of the big ones are going through like Cisco regularly. And so there's just no rhyme or reason to it, to be honest.
Yeah. What if you want to? What if there's a national account that you've never called on before, but you want to build a relationship, you want to present yourself and your products? How do you typically start a conversation with somebody?
Well, I love this question and I get asked it often. I'm a rare breed. I love the hunt. And so I like taking care of my customers, but I really like prospecting and I really like cold calling and getting new business. So the first place I start is LinkedIn.
Mhm.
LinkedIn is a great channel for especially chain accounts, and start following the company, start following leadership in the company, start following the supply chain. At any one company, I might follow 20 people before I even talk to them, just to see what they're up to and see what the chain is up to. LinkedIn, sometimes I'll send a message to, the supply chain contact or maybe a culinary contact on LinkedIn. The response rate is, I'd say probably 8 out of 10 will respond and at least put something nice. But usually the best way is to go to LinkedIn, learn about the company, and then meet them at a trade show or some kind of conference event. And so really it's like a
Mm,
two-prong approach because I've already been following their company, following their people, kind of know what they're up to. And then I organically, run into them at an event or a trade show and introduce myself. And then I can talk intelligently about what they've been up to in their business because I've been following all of these people on their team. And that's
that's
really
so
how I get my
smart.
foot in the door.
That is so smart. I would imagine, some of these or many of these national accounts you're calling on, there's probably a lot of people trying to get a hold of them. And it sounds like you found definitely a very innovative way to, cut through all of the noise and get their attention and have you become a resource to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also comes through posting on LinkedIn. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
uh, I can't fathom why people are afraid to comment on customer posts or random people's posts on LinkedIn. Like people that I don't do business with, if they post something that interests me, I'll make a comment. And then that resonates with them and they remember me. Oftentimes, I'll walk up to someone at a trade show, never met them before in my life, and they'll say, "Oh, hi, it's nice to see you again." And it's because my presence on LinkedIn, because I'm opening up the conversation and I'm continually kind of on their mind. I also post relevant data about plant based and what's going on in the industry or what's going on with Califia. And so people notice that. So I think it's an important piece
Yeah.
that, especially in social selling and the new environment we're in, that if you're not well versed on social selling, you should definitely learn and get bulk up because you have it. It's necessary in today's market.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When you look back on your career, is there a sale that comes to mind that is one that is very memorable to you? Um, where it was something like you overcame a big obstacle or you sold a lot of product or just something that is really memorable to you.
Yeah, I do have a few favorites, but the favorite that I'll pick is from my regional sales manager days at Schwan Foods. This is kind of the pivotal turning point in my career that I knew I wanted to get into national accounts. So I ended up, we had a broker at the time, and they were instrumental in this sell as well. We prospected Disneyland, and we wanted to sell them pizza crust. And
Hmm.
so got with the broker, and we game planned a couple key targets in the LA, Southern California area, and Disneyland was always the top of the list. And me and the broker partner, like it was a pipe dream because they had been with a partner for eons, and we didn't think we had a chance. But through the broker's relationship, she was able to get us a meeting, and we started the courtship with Disneyland and ended up about a year and a half later winning the business. And that was really a pivotal moment that I'm like, wow, like bigger cells are my jam. Like this is what I want to do. I don't want any more of these like 1 unit, 3 unit diners. Like I want to do this because I like all the dollar signs and I like the
It,
big fish to reel in.
yes, it's a certain feeling when you land a big one, and because the big ones, a lot of times they're harder, they take longer,
Yeah,
and when they hit, yeah, it's a feeling that you can't even describe.
absolutely. And Disneyland was such a fun customer to work with
Hmm.
because what a lot of people don't know about selling food to Disney is you're not allowed in the park when it's open. So you can only go like, because I was selling pizza, I had to go work with the chefs and dial in their cooking equipment and their ovens. And so we would go before opening hours and they take you on a behind the scenes golf cart tour to go to the location and like take you around the back and you get to see all sorts of fun things behind the scenes. So yeah, definitely still one of my favorite experiences and my favorite customer to work with.
Amazing. Looking forward into your career, what is something that you'd like to achieve that you've not yet achieved?
Oh, I want to sell a McDonald's. I want to land McDonald's.
Okay.
That's a big, it's a well on everybody's list and really hard to get into
Yeah.
organically. And so, I'm working all the magic. I probably follow 100 people from McDonald's on LinkedIn, but have not been so lucky yet. So that's a really big well account that I really want to accomplish. And I mean, just moving up the ranks in food service. I think that VP of sales is in my future, and who knows
Mhm.
beyond that. So I really enjoy food service and what I do.
Incredible. Well, Candace, thank you so much for taking time to do this. Is there a way that if anybody's listening, that if they want to reach out to you, a best way to contact you, maybe through LinkedIn?
Yes, I would encourage people to reach out via LinkedIn. I actually do meetups with new people all the time, just virtually.
Yeah.
Love meeting new people and networking. So, absolutely, if you want to network with me, find me on LinkedIn. I'm at Candice Williams, Utah on LinkedIn. If you search
Okay.
just Candice Williams, Utah, I will come right up.
Are you doing any upcoming shows like the Fancy Food Show or Pizza Expo or NRA show?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do COEX. I'm going to be at the Dot Innovation Show. I'll be at Market Vision. I can't remember what I'm going to be at the second half of the year, but those are the three they're coming up. So yeah, if you see me at a show, please introduce yourself and let's meet.
Fantastic. Candace, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it. And I enjoyed our conversation. And now I'm very excited to go to Utah when I go in a couple weeks. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, and thanks for having me on. And if you need any tips while you're in town, I will give you my cell phone number, and please hit me up. I'd love to help you out.